It's the city. 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 Live from Sacramento City Hall, it's the SacVibes podcast.
All right. Hi, everyone. It is April 15th, 2025. I'm Danielle from the CE team, and you're chilling with SacVibes, the local government podcast where we educate, engage, and empower residents from the city of Sacramento.
He was looking forward to that.
I know he was ready. He was like holding it up,
ready.
waiting.
That's right.
Yeah.
I just dream about that moment.
I mean, since you got the button,
Yes.
Who are you, Greg? How are you doing?
I am well, doing well. It's nice and warm now, allergy season. But other than that, doing well.
How about you, Ari?
I'm doing good. I second the allergies. I'm losing that battle. Yeah, I'm doing good. How about you, Lynette?
I'm your other co-host, Lynette, and I'm doing well. Allergies really don't affect me, so
You're like the only person I know
Right.
that don't have allergies. What do you do?
I don't know.
You drink honey like at home or something?
I do
Honey's
drink
good.
honey.
What's wrong with honey?
No, that's like
No, that's
supposed to
the
be
repellent.
like
That's the
remedy.
Yeah, remedy. That's the
Yeah,
word.
you eat like local honey.
Yeah.
I found it that it doesn't really work, but I mean,
Speaking of honey, I started drinking a different coffee. It's a mushroom.
Oh,
Mushroom coffee?
Does it actually help you lose weight? Sorry, this is not a sponsorship or endorsement.
No, but I do feel like I have more energy, and I put honey in it. But yeah, it's a mushroom.
mushroom coffee. Does it taste like coffee?
Kinda.
Okay.
Okay.
So mushrooms are supposed to have a lot of like medicinal effects, not
Yeah.
hallucinogenic effects.
Not those kind of
Be
mushrooms.
over here like touching stuff in the sky. No, not that. So yeah, I've been doing that, and I started working out at home, so I'm kind of sore right now.
Yeah, same. I started working out too.
So
Now we all
We're all
Getting
hitting
on
the
the
gym.
things, yeah.
working out at
sexy for the
home.
summer.
That's right.
What kind of workouts you be doing at home?
Squats and
Squats?
Oh.
and crunches and leg lifts.
I started doing boxing. We have a heavy bag at the house. My friend gave me a stand, and I figured out how to put it back together. So I started doing boxing. My son trained for a little bit, so he have this app called Fight Camp, and I just follow along. And
Oh.
my knuckle is like bruised. It's
Okay,
sore
Iron
right here.
Man, you gonna be punching this bag for 10 minutes in the same spot.
20 minutes, yeah, it's very painful.
I love it.
Sweating and all that, yeah.
But
Then-
boxing is a full body workout, so
Yeah.
like that's good.
yeah, I'm very sore right now, especially like right here, my shoulders.
If y'all are doing anything new for this spring, maybe working out, maybe, working on your diet, let us know in the comments. It's that type of season.
It is that season.
That's right.
But before we go too deep into our new routines, I'm going to swap over to Lynette to talk about our council updates.
Yeah, so we had an exciting council last week. A lot of the items were really around housing. So there's a new, well, I won't say new, but there's an initiative here in Sacramento called Sacramento Streamline. And so it's really streamlining the development process when it comes to housing. And so Sacramento is doing a couple different things, really doing research, learning from other cities, what work, what don't work, how they can leverage other technology in order to just streamline. We need housing. We are the first city in the state of California to receive the pro-housing designation. It's a really prestigious award. And so we're just trying to identify ways to like streamline the process, make it consistent, and also figure out ways to reduce some of the costs that are associated with from building permits to you have to go to design and review, you have to go through inspections. During COVID, they were using camera phones, drones to do a lot of inspections.
Right.
Trying to figure out whether or not that continues to work. And so another item was really around amending our code so that we've eliminated parking requirements in the city. And so we wanted to make sure our ordinance was aligned with the general plan and that it kind of lined up together. So we had to make some amendments to the ordinance so that it was aligned with the general plan. So before, when a developer would come in and want to build, let's say, an apartment complex, there were certain parking requirements. They had to have a certain number of parking requirements per
Like parking
unit,
spots, right?
parking spots
Okay.
per spot. So now there is none anymore. So and so one of the things is really focusing on like transit oriented development. So that's development around, our regional transit or the bus system. And so although folks love to be able to have their car parked right in front of their house, it's taking up space that could be used for housing. So we need housing a lot more than we need cars. And so those are some of the things that happened at council that was super cool.
Yeah.
We still have a lot of housing that we need to do. I think we only hit like 42% of our annual goals. So there's goals every year on how many units need to be constructed over the next like 10 years in order to meet the housing demands. And we only hit about 42%. So we're struggling
Is that
a little bit.
the state requirement for housing, or is that separate?
I don't know if it's so each city is different because it's a city requirement.
City requirement. Okay.
But we have to report to the state on where we're at. So there is a housing element report that happens
That's
every
what
year.
I meant. Like Newsom's demand that cities have more housing, right? Yeah. Okay.
So
Cool.
so that's kind of what happened at council. And then also, I keep telling folks it's budget time, budget.
Yes.
Every week decisions are being made about you, without you. So
Well, we like 2 weeks out from the proposed budget.
proposed budget is April 29th, and it's a 2 p.m. meeting. I don't think there's a 5 p.m. meeting. It's a 2 p.m. meeting. So that will be when our interim city manager proposes to mayor and council a proposed draft budget.
Okay.
And then council members and the mayor have an opportunity to either accept that, make changes, but ultimately it has to be adopted by June 30th.
And is this the time for folks to come make public comment still?
Absolutely.
Okay, you heard that. So if y'all have something that you want to make sure is happening in Sacramento, you got to make public comment about it. Were you going to say something?
I was just gonna say, by June 30th, and you really want to make sure you get in before it's too late. Once that budget's adopted, you gotta wait till next year till we're talking about it again. So I'm sure that there are a lot of public sentiments about where city money should go, especially considering that it is going to impact services that we provide, things that you'll have access to. So please, if we can maybe, if you're watching on YouTube, if you can maybe link, any resources maybe to our link tree.
Yeah, we can share the Granicus website. You can look at all the agendas.
That's right.
All the meeting information. I think you can make public comment from there too, correct?
You can.
E-comments.
So you can do an e-comment. So the budget will be discussed, the proposed budget, on April 29th. But at every council meeting until then, even if they're not talking about the budget, there's a section after the agenda items that are not on the agenda.
Yeah.
Public matters not on the agenda. That would be the time for you to submit a slip and speak on the budget if you so choose to.
Yes. And so thank you so much for those council recaps, Lynette. Does anyone else have any further thoughts before I kick it to Greg to introduce today's topic?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay.
Make sure your comments is 2 minutes, or Minty will cut you off.
Minty.
Sorry, gotta go. Remember when
Your
she
2
said she
minutes are
hates
up.
that part? Like, she genuinely,
Oh, she does hate that?
she does.
I don't blame her.
The
It's
hardest
hard.
working woman in showbiz.
I that would be my thing. Like, all right, you're done.
You're done.
Out of here. You're done.
She's so pleasant about it.
She
She's
is.
so pleasant.
She tries to be, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not an easy job to do that. Cutting people off.
Yeah. I would love that part. I would love to.
Right? I'd have a little cane like in Apollo. Da-da-da.
Snatch him off
Pull him off
and
the
start
stage.
dancing.
Dang. You're wild.
For those of you all listening, we were mimicking the guy from Apollo. What do they call him? This is Sandman guy?
The Sandman.
Yeah. So he would come out, and if an act wasn't doing good, it was getting booed. Then the Sandman would come out and drag him off the stage.
And he always come through sideways.
Like, you know I'm coming for you, right?
Dang. Good old days.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
So what's our topic, Greg?
It's on our topic. So thank you. Today, our topic is about the city's many boards, commissions, and committees. For those of you that don't know, a commission is an advisory body created to advise council members and/or specific city departments in their work. They actually have different roles, right? There's 4 different categories, which we'll be going on through later. Commission members are nominated or appointed by council members, and also there are 31 active commissions on the city's website, and a lot of them have openings. So if you're interested in being commissioner, then this is an episode for you. You can learn more about what these commissions do. And then next podcast, we are hoping to have a commission member join us on the podcast. So the end of the month, look forward to that.
So in addition to council members that appoint commissioners, the mayor also has an appointment as well.
Correct. Yes. Thank you for
So
adding that in.
If you're interested, you need to holler at your local council member. And
it's a way to get involved in your city and stay in the
Absolutely.
know what's going on.
Exactly.
so council member
civically
Phil
engaged.
Pluckerbaum,
Yeah.
when I first met him, he was actually on the planning commission.
Oh,
Okay.
And so now he's a council member.
right.
And it wasn't that long ago. I mean, within a couple of years, he went from commissioner to council member. And you can too.
You can.
Yes.
So Lynette, while we're on it, like, what do commissions do?
They really, they are advisory. Majority of them, some are quasi-judicial, which are kind of like the planning commission. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But a majority of the boards and commissions are really, they serve as a advisor to council members and the mayor. They're kind of the ears and eyes for the council members on issues. So if you like pets, there is the Animal Care Service Commission. If you're interested in what our police department is doing, there's the Sacramento Police Review Commission. They review policies that the police department are responsible for. There's tons of commissions, and so that's kind of what they serve as.
What about the ones that, like the departments that get the complaints? Where do those things go?
That goes to like our ethics commission. So we have an ethics commission, and those are really focused on public complaints for appointed or elected officials.
Okay.
So if someone has a complaint about a council member, they think a council member did something wrong, such as like the Brown Act, and we can talk a little bit about what the Brown Act is. You hear it come up a lot in council. Somebody broke the Brown Act. Somebody broke the Brown Act. You would submit a complaint to the Ethics Commission, and that commission would get all of the facts, gather all the research, and make a decision or a report on whether or not they think something was done illegally.
Okay. Since we're on the Brown Act, like, what is it specifically anyway? We seem to hear it a lot.
So the Brown Act, this is a California law that began in 1953. An Assembly member Brown, I think Ralph Brown, was actually the author, so it's named after him.
Okay.
And this was a way to ensure public participation and transparency when it comes to government matters.
Okay.
And so,
So that's how it applies to commissioners then, because of the
they are
transparency
appointed.
piece?
They are appointed. So commissioners are also Brown. They have to abide by the Brown Act, and essentially, it makes sure that our processes are open and transparent, and that public can participate. So that was really the reason that the Brown Act was created, to ensure that the public was involved in decisions.
Right.
Because before, folks were having little sidebar meetings outside of work, making decisions that impacted the public. So this is a way that says that public, elected officials, boards of commissioners, you cannot have a majority of the folks discussing a specific issue without it being a public open process.
Right. And something that's been notified, right? It has to be properly notified. Right?
It has to be, you have to properly notify. That's a part of the Brown Act. You have to properly notify meetings. So whether it's a special meeting, even there are certain processes for an emergency meeting. So you can't have a meeting and people don't know about it. So we have to make sure we provide it on our website, I think 5-7 days before the council. You also have to have the agenda. So all of that, so public can have all of the information that they need
Right.
before it's heard.
So overall, it sounds like a good thing, the Brown Act,
Yeah.
right? To keep the business in the public eye.
And just I'm getting this right, this means that they can say for example that there's I don't know, like a festival or something going on. It's okay for all of them to come be a part of the festival, but it just means that they can't discuss
They can't discuss any business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just have to be quiet.
Right. Now, since we have 8 council members and a mayor, so the majority would be 5. So let's say 3 council members wanted to have a conversation and go out to lunch and talk about an issue. They could do that because it's 3. But if it was 5, you can't do that. It has to be done in a public setting. That would be a violation of the Brown Act.
Okay.
That's right.
So 4 is okay as well, or is that kind of meh?
4, it's not a majority. So 4, you can.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's a way to make sure. Now, if you have 5 members and they're just talking in general about something, so it's not like 5 members can't be in the same location.
Right.
They just can't be talking about something that they're going to vote on in the future. That has to be done in a public setting.
Okay.
And that is also text messages.
Yep.
Got to be mindful of text messages. So we as government employees, all of our stuff is PRA, Public Records Request Act. So folks can get that. So that can get you in trouble. Texting
like
or
a
having
group
a
chat?
multiple group chat, that can be a
Teams, yeah.
violation of the Brown Act if they're discussing a specific issue.
Yep.
If they're not discussing a specific issue, then that's okay. But they can't discuss a specific issue.
So does the majority rule apply in a text thread too?
Absolutely.
yeah.
If the text is about something specific. So if you got 7 if all the council members are on a group text and they're just talking about, hey, there's a council meeting tonight, but they're not talking about specifically what's happening on the council meeting, that's fine. But as soon as they start saying hey, streamline Sacramento, we're trying to streamline, we're going to have a discussion and provide direction to staff on how to help streamline housing, that would be a violation.
Okay. So many rules.
It is.
But that's good to know. I'm glad that there are protections out there to make sure that the public is,
In the know.
notified
Yeah.
of what's going on.
And if you're still thinking about being a commissioner, don't let these rules
Scary.
scare you, because I just happened to, while I was doing research for this episode, I just looked at the website on our page about the page on our website about commissions, and there's a great orientation video for commissioners, and that's where I got most of this information from. Like, hey,
hey.
so it's pretty cool. It's all kind of laid out there, so it's not as intimidating as it sounds. It's more so just making sure that the business stays out in the open. That's the spirit of the law, right?
Yeah, we don't want, backroom deals and
Right.
Signing a napkin.
So while we're on this, let's go back to one of the commissions, and I'm gonna pick one by random. Let's look at the Youth Commission. If you go to the website, you can click on board.cityofsacramento.gov, and then you'll see a list of active commissions, and then you can click on the description, and it gives you another page, and it tells you what the responsibilities are, kind of. So for the Youth Commission, some of the things that the youth commissioners do. Oh, and by the way, the reason for the youth commission is to have young people present at the city, at the table for specific decisions, right? So
That's right.
young people were being left out, and so the city said, okay, well, we'll need to make a commission that have young people from each district represented at the table when talking about things that affect youth, right? And some of the things that they do are to advise city council on policies and projects, assist youth parks and community enrichment department in promoting city services and functions that related to young people, and then educating other youth in understanding how city government works, and to encourage other young people to be actively engaged too. They can also conduct studies and have extra work on their own, like, side projects that they're interested in, and working with other young people and organizations. And they also review complaints and other matters pertaining to youth issues as requested by the Youth Development Policy Manager. So those are some of the more specific duties that a commissioner could have, right? And so every commission, board, or committee is gonna be different.
And they can also request to have different departments come and present on things that they care about. So we got an opportunity to present to them. They wanted to know, what does community engagement look like at the city of Sacramento? So we actually presented, and I'm just really impressed with those young folks. So it's 14 to 24 when we say youth commission, ages 14 to 24. But I was just really impressed with how it's looking like they sit on the dais, like at a council meeting. The chair sits where the mayor typically sits. And those young folks are just on it. I was just very impressed, and I know they're all going places. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. I love how it's an opportunity that you don't have to wait until you're like 25 or up to wait for.
Yeah.
And they also get, all the commissioners get a stipend or a per diem.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The website said $50 per meeting.
Yeah.
$50?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good meal.
They get a per diem.
What about parking? Is that included in that?
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And just so folks know, if you come to a city council meeting, you can get your parking validated. So you can park at the city garage, bring your ticket in to the front where you would normally go to get a public comment slip, and they'll validate your parking. So something good to know.
Let's look at another commission, shall we? Which one do you want to take a look at? And we can read some of these things that we're scrolling through the website right now, the board's webpage.
Well, the animal, they just changed their name, the Animal Well-Being Commission. They used to be formerly known as the Animal Care Services Commission.
Okay. Let's see what they do.
We had an opportunity to
You
present to them
want to
too.
read out things for us? Daniel?
Yeah, sure. So for the Animal Well-Being Commission, that commission was established to provide advice and recommendations to council on strategies, policies, and programs to ensure that animal care services are properly provided by the city. And so some of the powers and duties of this commission include assisting with keeping people and their pets together through things such as reuniting lost pets with their owners, return to home and return to owner programs, and owner surrender prevention programs. Also, some of their duties are to provide quality care for the animals housed at our animal care services centers, encouraging low-cost spay and neuter services. As a pet owner, those are super expensive. So,
How much does it cost nowadays?
okay, if you're not doing like a low-cost service, for my cat, for example, it's like $500 to $700.
Dang.
Yeah, which is really interesting because if you get them from a shelter, they spay and neuter for free.
Yeah.
So,
That's steep.
ouch. And
very steep.
ensuring the city's Animal Care Services Center meets or exceeds standards recommended by the Association of Shelter Veterinarians Guidelines for Care. This commission wants to promote awareness of programs that our Animal Care Services Center provides, what animals are available for adoption, the importance of spaying and neutering, the importance of ensuring pets have appropriate medical care, and our volunteer program. And so, these folks are going to serve as that connection between the community and the Animal Care Services Center. And, they'll provide a public forum for folks to come share, their thoughts.
I never,
very vocal.
I never understood the importance of the spay and neutering programs until I went to the Philippines for the first time. There
Kitties
was
everywhere.
hella dogs and cats, just random, and poor things are like missing legs and eyes and just all mangy looking, and there's just like so many animals just out in the city, you know. And I was like, oh, that's what happens when you don't spay and neuter.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
just
love
takes
kittens,
off.
but it's really wild to think about how like you can have this cat that gets pregnant and then like 3 to 4 months it spits out another like 7.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
So we had an opportunity to present to them as well. And I learned that they had a foster care program.
Oh, that's right.
And with the foster care program, if you're unsure of whether or not you want to have an animal, the city of Sacramento will allow you to foster, and they take care of everything. They provide everything: food, litter, puppy, potty pads, medicine, whatever you need for the animal while you're fostering it. And so at the commission meeting, I was like, I'm going to be a foster parent. And I said it publicly, so I felt like I actually had to do it.
Yeah.
And so that's how I ended up with the damn cat named Two. He's bad as hell.
Fail.
He's still with me. Yeah. So I went ahead and adopted him. But some of the other things, I think once a month we see some of the commissioners actually bring animals here to different city departments.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah,
I
and so
love
they
it.
walk around with an animal with
I
a
didn't know that was a commissioner. I thought it was a staff person.
adopt me
Little
jacket.
vest on.
They bring by like a adoptable dog, you know.
Their little
To sell
QR
you.
code. Yeah.
We had to restrain Danielle from taking the dog home too.
I know. I was getting ready to
Danielle,
report her to a commissioner.
even think about it.
Front Street is already aware
The
and
arc is
that's
full.
the city limit, so putting it out there.
The Susa Zoo.
The arc is full.
Zoo. The zoo and
But
resort.
But it's cool. The boards and commissions are super cool. And I think especially for young people, if you're thinking about like college, this would look really, really good on a college application. You are a board or commissioner.
And you also learn how the city works.
Absolutely.
Sure.
We all be talking about this and that, but when you see the actual things that these people are responsible for, like, oh, okay, that's how they take care of that.
Yeah,
Right.
it demystifies the process.
Right.
My favorite commission is Measure U. That's who funds us.
Hey.
Shout out to Measure U.
You get 3 horns for that one.
So that was the 1 cent tax that taxpayers voted for, and it started off at half cent, and then it went to a full cent, which it included inclusive economic development. It funds a lot of the work with our public safety groups. But yeah, if it wasn't for Measure U, we wouldn't have community engagement.
That's right.
For the Neighborhood Development Action Team.
Right on.
Thank you, Measure You.
Thank you. You measure you.
This is also not sponsored.
Pennies matter. Pennies
I'm
matter.
about to say 1 cent go a long way.
1 cent go a long
That's
way.
right. One thing I wanted to learn more about too is the quasi-judicial commissions. I think one of us was on one, right?
Yeah.
This
so
is the one
what
we
was
can
that?
actually make decisions about.
So you make decisions, and a lot of times those decisions don't have to come to council, which is our city planning commission. So there are certain actions that can go directly there, and decisions can be made there, and they don't have to go to city council.
Y'all know they be having real architects on the commission?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah?
Like a
That
full
makes
blown
sense.
architect. And it's hard to get licensed as an architect too.
I think it specifies on their commission, like they have to have like an architect, engineer. So I think it specifies
Okay.
for the planning commission. But
And the reason why planning needs that is because they're the ones dictating the zoning, right? So they have to establish specific pieces in the city for commercial, for residential,
That's right.
industrial, right?
Yeah.
So they need to make those decisions. Those are like that board and one more has some kind of actual power in making decisions about things, right?
redistricting.
Oh, redistricting.
Redistricting. Yes. So the redistricting commission, it is assembled every 10 years. So it'll change again in 2030. So in a couple years here, it has a representative from each city district. So 8 members plus 2, I don't want to call them, they're not temporary, but they're to complete the total for 10 commissioners. Yes, they redraw the redistricting lines or the city boundaries or the city districts, I should say, really.
And why is that important for us to have that?
That's a good question. So it's important because one, population, we want each district to have an equal population.
Right.
But also in terms of funding. So funding, it determines how each district is funded, where the money goes, who needs help, more help than usual, and then just fairness all around.
So is it basically you have to look at each district, and do you have to like balance like the number of people in each one? Is that why you have to redistrict?
Exactly that.
Okay. So since people be moving around, and one
And
place
the
gets
influx
more,
of people. Yep.
Oh, the
But you
influx
can't-
also.
But there are certain criteria where
Yep.
you can't like break up neighborhoods.
Yep.
Right. Right.
Certain geographic areas need to stay
Yep.
together.
Right.
So yeah, there's a bunch
Yeah.
of different criteria that they have to take when drawing the lines.
When we did it in 2020, we were literally moving like census tract by census tract so that we could meet the criteria of redrawing the lines.
Wow.
Because like Lynette said, you can't break up like a neighborhood. It has to be like each district at the time, because our population was going to, I think it was 500,000. But each district had to have like around 67,000 plus or minus like 10%.
Oh, so there's like a little margin of error kind of. Okay,
exactly.
that's good.
Yep.
And it's also ways to ensure that fairness in folks' voting power, right?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so you're
it's
not
equal.
limiting all low-income folks in one area. And it also helps determine when you're getting people elected, wanting to make sure that there's a shared goal and shared visions among who you put in positions of power in those areas.
And correct me if I'm wrong. At the last commission redistricting, like it affected some council members because they no longer lived in the district. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So once that happens, they can no longer represent. Is that what? Is that?
The next election, they have to go. They have to run for election. They're not automatically selected.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was some shakeups on
It was.
this. It was definitely, there were folks that were preparing to run, but they had bought a house, and then once the redistricting lines were confirmed, they realized they weren't in the district that they were going to run in. So there were a lot of things like that happened.
I love that you said the voting power too, because there is the River District. They were asking to be removed from District 3 and back into District 4. And for their voting power, they felt like they didn't vote the same as everyone else in District 3. And so they wanted to be moved back to District 4.
Yeah. And even seeing the changes in District 4 that now included East Sacramento.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a huge change because folks in East Sacramento typically didn't always agree or think like the folks in downtown Sacramento, right? And so now they're together. So, you know.
I hope
They
this
gotta get
shows
along.
people that like commissions, aren't just you pretending, to get together and like play council. Like you're actually making really big decisions.
Absolutely.
And talking about really important topics that, affect everyone in the city.
Yeah.
So
Right.
but that sounds like your kind of jive, you want to, help create a better, place for people to live in. You want to help improve your communities. Definitely check out our open commission spots.
That's right.
And there's a lot of them too. I was looking through.
Yeah.
Some have more than others, of course, but
Yes.
if you scroll through it, you'll see the ones that have openings.
And so how do I become a commissioner if I, was interested?
Start by filling out an application on the city's website. Then you have to go through some trainings, right? If you're selected, you got to go through trainings. I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
Mostly on ethics, sexual harassment, and what have you. Just so make sure that you're
And compliant.
abiding in compliance. Thank you, with the Brown Act. You have to file a specific form 700. This is about your financial holdings. So you can't be influencing decisions where you actually have a financial stake in, right?
That's right.
So got to make sure that you're not have like a spay and neuter company or something.
Yeah.
You're like making decisions for the animal.
Or you are a developer,
Yeah.
and you're getting ready to vote on a project that you're trying to develop on, and you're on
Right.
the
That's
planning
right.
commission.
Right. And then finally, if you fit all the criteria in your application, then you can be eligible for nomination from city council or the mayor. And that's the only ones I could appoint, right? Okay.
Nice.
But I would say even before you start filling out the application, get to know your council member, because
That's right.
they have to appoint you, and they won't appoint you if they don't know you.
Right.
You'll just be an application, a name on an application. So.
And it's usually folks that have been really present and involved in the community, right?
That's right.
Yeah, when your council member has office hours or they're doing things in the community, go up,
Show up.
introduce yourselves, let them know who you are. So when they see that application, they can put a face with the name.
That's right.
I would probably make a caveat that I don't know if the youth commission operates the same way. I'm assuming that one's a little bit more open, given the differences in experience in young people.
I feel like they still haven't appointed. I think
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they
a
still-
council member still gets.
Yeah. But I
Right.
meant like yourself present. Like I don't think they would expect a young person to do that, would they?
When I tell you these commissioners, they are on it. So I think these are kids that
They're a
are
little ahead of
out.
the curve.
They're a little
Okay.
ahead of the curve. They're out
Okay.
in the community. They're doing stuff, right?
Okay.
They're like student body president at their school. They're on the football team, the cheerleading team. They volunteer to feed our unhoused folks. It's competitive.
Okay.
So-
It's a competitive process.
It's competitive.
Oh,
Everything is
okay.
competitive.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I'm just really impressed with them.
Yeah. So next time we meet, we will hopefully have our youth commissioner with us to talk about what they do, and one of the staffers that works with the commission itself. But yeah.
Also, just like being a youth commissioner, and then you also go to school, and maybe some of them have like side jobs and their extracurriculars. Like that's a commitment within
That
itself.
is.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because they have to read up on all
On
of the
everything.
information,
That's
what's
right.
going to be on the agenda, any PowerPoints, even any presentations. They
Right.
read it beforehand. So
That look good on a resume though.
It will.
So with
So-
that, is there anything else that you
Yeah.
want people to know?
City
Last thing-
Connect.
Oh, City Connect.
Oh,
Yeah.
2 things.
Before we get off the topic commissions, if you're still interested, there's I'll send a link in this description where you can watch the video, learn more about commissions. You can see the openings on the website, and you can see all the different types of commissions. So, thank you for listening. City Connect, that's coming this week.
It
That's
is.
right.
It's going to be this Thursday, y'all, at Device Brewery, the one in Pocket.
Okay.
There's arcade games there,
Arcade games.
So kid
y'all
They got
know-
kid
Pac-Man.
friendly.
Y'all know I'm going to be there.
I don't know if they have Pac-Man. I've never been there. Have you?
I have.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to test out the food.
Is Kendrick Lamar going to be at
Science.
Device?
You'll have some good food.
The food is good. The food is really, really good.
All right.
I won't be there, but I will provide a playlist, so I'll be there in
Yes.
spirit.
That playlist better be fire. They not
make
like
it.
us. They not like us.
Yeah, so please stop by if you're free on Thursday from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at Device Brewery. Always free admission, always free food, and always free resources.
Yes.
Yes. And I think with that, we're pretty much good, right?
You're done.
So once again, thank you so much for vibing with us, and don't forget to follow us on social media, YouTube, and Spotify. And we'll see you next time.
Peace.